Every year, lakhs of Indian families make the same bet. They mortgage homes, drain savings, and take loans they will spend the next decade repaying, all of it just for one thing: a foreign degree. And the logic feels airtight. Better university, better job, better life. The entire decision seems obvious to everyone making it. A QS intelligence report found a widespread feeling among Indian students that there is an entrenched lack of equal opportunity in India and that a foreign degree is the only reliable way past it. When that is what you genuinely believe, spending a crore of rupees does not feel reckless. It feels necessary. But what if the promise does not hold up the way you think it does? What if the job waiting on the other side is not as certain as the brochure suggests? This video is not telling you not to go abroad. It is asking you to look at the full picture before you decide. You looked at your college and thought, this cannot be it. The infrastructure was average. The professors were reading off slides they had not updated in 6 years. Your seniors were getting placed at companies you had never heard of for packages that would not cover rent in a decent city. And somewhere in the middle of all that, a thought took root. Maybe the problem is not you. Maybe the problem is where you are. Maybe if you just got out, things would look different. So you started looking outward. A university in Canada, a master's in the US, a program in the UK with a brochure so polished it looked like a luxury hotel advertisement. And the more you looked, the more logic seemed airtight. Better universities, better research, better companies, recruiting on campus, a work permit after graduation, eventually maybe a PR. The entire thing seemed like a ladder that only went up. And you are not alone. By 2024, over 13 lakh Indian students were studying abroad, up from 11.59 lakh just a few years earlier. That is not a fringe decision. That is a generation of students who looked at what India was offering and collectively decided it was not enough. But here's where the story starts getting uncomfortable. Something changed in 2024. Canada, which was the most popular destination for Indian students, saw a 41% drop in enrollments in a single year. The UK dropped. The US dropped. Hundreds and thousands of students who were supposed to get on that flight quietly decided not to go or simply could not. The dream looked the same as it always did. What changed was the reality waiting on the other side of it. So, before you submit that application, before you take that loan, and before you tell your parents that this is the plan, here are 3 things most students only discover after they have landed already. Number 1. Start with what the degree was actually supposed to deliver. Because if you are being honest with yourself, the degree was never really about the education alone. It was what comes after: the job, the work permit, the salary in dollars or pounds. That was the implicit promise that made the loans feel logical and the distance from home feel worth it. Here is what that promise actually looks like in 2026. If you are going to the US, your entire career trajectory after graduation depends heavily on the H-1B visa. And the H-1B is not an application process. It's a lottery, a literal draw. Even if you graduate, even if you find an employer willing to sponsor you, roughly 2 out of every 3 applicants still do not get selected. And from 2027 onwards, the system is shifting to a wage-weighted model, meaning entry-level positions will have the lowest selection odds of all. The roles that most fresh graduates are applying for will be the hardest to get through the system. Canada was supposed to be the more reliable path, more welcoming, a clearer route from study permit to work permit to PR. And then the policy changed overnight. The Canadian government introduced enrollment caps in 2024, tightened post-study work permits, and made PR pathways significantly more competitive. Now, put a rupee figure to that bet. A 2-year master's in the US costs somewhere between 40 lakh rupees and 80 lakh rupees in all. Tuition, accommodation, food, health insurance, and the currency conversion that quietly inflates every expense and every time the rupee weakens. And it does weaken consistently. The loan you take today at today's exchange rate costs more in real terms every year you spend repaying it. Compare that to what India charges. A full 4-year BTech at an IIT costs between 8 lakh rupees and 10 lakh rupees total, including hostel and mess. not per year, the entire degree. An NITI Aayog report released in the late 2025 noted that for every one international student coming into India, roughly 25 Indian students are going out, collectively sending tens of billions of dollars abroad every year. That is not just a personal financial decision, it is a national one. The students most seriously considering going abroad are largely not IIT or IIM students. They already have placement pipelines, brand recognition, and career options that travel very well. The student most likely to take a 60 lakh rupee loan and board a flight to Canada are the ones from Tier 2 and Tier 3 colleges who looked at their situation and concluded that leaving was the only way to compete. That feeling is understandable, but the ground beneath it is shifting faster than most people have noticed. According to India's Economic Survey 2024, over 45% of startups recognized by the DPIIT have emerged from their Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. Not from Bangalore or Mumbai, but from smaller cities and from students who grew up and built their understanding of India in the same environments most of you are sitting in right now. The market being built here is not an elite metropolitan market, it's a Bharat market. And the people who understand that market from the inside are not at a disadvantage. They are precisely what the companies building for it are looking for. India's domestic technology ecosystem has been steadily strengthening, with software unicorns emerging from within the country and the repatriation of talent lighting a spark among entrepreneurs to build technology from inside India rather than outside it. Global capability centers are expanding beyond the big metros into cities like Coimbatore, Indore, and Nagpur. Companies like Zoho have built their entire operations deliberately away from Tier 1 cities, hiring locally, building locally, and competing globally without anyone needing to relocate. The more important solution is to build skills aggressively while you are here and to intern early and often, to use the single biggest financial advantage India gives you, which is that you can afford to take risks that someone drowning in EMIs simply cannot. The opportunity in India is not patiently waiting for you to finish your masters abroad and come back. It's being built right now by people who are already here. So, before you finalize that application, ask yourself 3 things honestly. First, which specific university are you going to and what is its actual ranking in your field? Not the country or the city, the institution itself. A degree from a genuinely top-ranked global university is a fundamentally different asset from a degree at a university ranked between 200 and 500 globally. Both cost roughly the same, but only one of them meaningfully changes how a hiring manager reads your profile. Be honest about which one you are actually getting. Second, what does this degree specifically unlock that you cannot access in India right now? Not global exposure in general, not a better life in abstract, something specific and honest, a research program, a specialization that does not exist domestically, a career that genuinely requires this credential in that particular market. If your answer is vague, then your plan is vague. Vague plans built on large loans tend to end very badly. Third, what does your life look like if the visa does not come through? Indian families are collectively spending close to $85 billion annually on foreign education. Model the downside before you commit to the upside. The question was never India versus abroad. It was always, where will you get the best return on your education? That question deserves a real answer, not a feeling, not a default, not a decision made because everyone around you seems to be doing the same thing. Run the numbers. Then you decide.